morning, everyone. It's Jackie, Jack's Creative Inspirations, here on Facebook and YouTube. Here on YouTube and on Facebook. And on Instagram, I go by the handle @ScrappinJax. Welcome to my channel, where I talk about crafting, mostly about cross stitch. Sometimes I talk about diamond painting. Sometimes I talk about an odd piece of jewelry or a floss bling made with jewelry making techniques. But today we're talking about cross stitch and things cross stitch related. It is in the early morning hours of Tuesday, June the 18th, 2024, and welcome to Flosstube number 42. It has been, well, according to YouTube, 3 weeks ago that I uploaded my last Flosstube. However, it was longer than that because I had issues with iPhone storage and all sorts of other fun crap. And so anyway, it's been a while. It's been a while. I was really kind of hesitant to do a video because I didn't have a lot of, I've been stitching, but I've been working on projects that I really can't share with you right now because they're gifts that are going to be given to somebody else. And so I can't share them just yet. So I did a lot of that. I got the Super Triple Secret Spy Project, Phase 1A, the object is finished. I need to fully finish it. Then Phase 1 of the Super Triple Secret Spy Project will be completed. I have started Phase 2 of the Super Triple Secret Spy Project. And I would like to have it done by the end of June so that in July I can get Phase 3 of the Super Triple Secret Spy Project started and hopefully completed as well. That would leave me with August and the entire 8 or 9 days surrounding my birthday that I will actually be off work and I can complete my floss blings for Stitching in the Wild in September of this year. Wow. StitchCon has come and gone. Both weekend A and last weekend was weekend B. I don't regret my decision to not attend this year, but holy hell, the FOMO, the absolute FOMO from seeing everyone going to and having such a wonderful time. And we're flooded right now with StitchCon recaps. And all of that content, and all of that content, and, and then I didn't really have any content for myself. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't have anything to show. And then I realized, well, hey, wait a minute. It's mid-year. Everyone's doing whip parades. And I love a parade. So let's have a parade. So yes, I'm going to do I'll do a whip parade. And I'll get into more of that here in just a minute. But let me show you something that is not part of the whip parade, but it is part of the whip parade. But I do want to show you, I was able to get a prototype done for my floss blings for Stitching in the Wild. This is with GaRon Stitchery. So this is a cabochon with the GaRon logo. I got Gary and Ronnie's permission to use their logo. And the theme is wild, so anything wild. Well, I have a ton of sea creature charms. So there is the sea creature, an octopus, and then some beads that say hashtag SITW, and then the charm of 2024. So 254 more to go. I had a wonderful, fun, productive weekend at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. Made lots of new friends, got to see old friends, got to reconnect with old friends. We had just the best weekend. It was Tana's birthday. I got her 24 buntinis from Nothing Bunk Cakes. So we all got some buntinis. We had flowers. We had a balloon. I found out later she has balloon issues. Damn it. Anyway, we had fun. And I'm already looking forward to next year. Speaking of next year, the Library Stitchers have already announced the dates for their retreat for next year and their registration process for the retreat. And I am beyond excited, going to be ready to go, have the fingers good to go so that on the 24th, when they release the registration, hopefully I'll be one of the first 75 in. They are opening up half of the slots first to those of us who attended this year as a thank you. So hopefully they'll be fast enough and my internet will be good enough that I can get in and get it done. And I've done a lot of, that reminds me, your view is a little different today. My living room is actually my crafting room, and right now we're in a bit of flux. I'm working on emptying out one set of shelving units. I have shelving units from IKEA, the Calyx shelving units that are the cubes. And then I have two sets of cube shelf units from Walmart, Better Homes and Gardens. They're pretty much identical. So I am emptying out the bigger of the sets of shelves to put my cross-stitch stuff into so that I can put what's left of books, videos, and CDs into the smaller set of Better Homes and Gardens shelves. Once all that's done, I promise I'll give you all a tour, but I'm sorry for those of you who love watching my floss hanging behind me. It's off in the corner. It's still there. I promise. It's still there. It hasn't left. It's off in the corner. So, well, we're at 7 minutes and I haven't even started showing some stitching. So, but first I want to start. I found this. This is a book that I had in my collection, Creative Bead Jewelry. I'm trying to learn how to make some jewelry pieces, just costume stuff. No real metal. Semi-precious beads, glass beads, plastic beads, acrylic beads. And I did decide to keep this book. Out of all my other jewelry making books, this was the book I kept because they do have in here lessons on how to do the peyote stitch. If you watch Country Stitchers, Liz does beautiful, beautiful peyote work, and she makes them into fobs, scissor fobs. And so I kept this book because I really would like to play with that. But in the beginning of the book, this is the beginning of the book, and I got to reading it, and I got to laughing because this is all of us. This absolutely is all of us. Oh, I'm so sorry. Before I start, I want you to, if you're new here and you're still sticking with me after 8 minutes, God bless you. If you like what you see, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell next door, because I'm right now putting out Flosstube so irregularly that if you hit that notification bell, then you'll know that I've actually made a new video. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. I love to meet all kinds of people, and everyone is welcome here. No one is turned away. No one is illegal. Everyone is welcomed, and this is a safe spot. Happy Pride Month. I don't care if you are straight and you make pride things, you go. A Flosstuber actually said, don't buy pride things from straight people, and that is so wrong. It is so, so, so wrong. We are just as much allies. And equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you. It's not pie. Everyone deserves. All right, off the soapbox. So, this quotation. This is the introduction to the book, and they call it Uncontrolled Substances. Uncontrolled. Now, you can substitute the word bead or beater with craft or crafter, stitch, stitcher, paint, painter, card maker, stamper, scrapbooker, whatever you want to do. It fits all of us, and you'll see why. Approach any veteran beater, any lover, collector, stringer, weaver, loomer, or maker of beads. And if you're a newcomer to the craft, you will invariably hear, watch out, beads are addictive. In the interest of full disclosure, we'd like to issue the same warning right up front. Run your hand through one little tray of brilliant beads. Wander into one seedy bead store. Oh, those seedy bead stores, they suck you in every time. With its seductive strands from Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Admire just a few gorgeous creations of glass, silver, porcelain, bone, brass, horn, wood, semi-precious stones. You're doomed. How can you tell if you're hooked? Ask yourself these questions and don't flinch from the answers. Question 1. Do you tell yourself that you can stop beading anytime you want to, but you keep right on? Oh, sure, maybe you quit for a day or two. Then the Saturday flea market rolls around and you head out just to look. There lies an old bracelet with one gorgeous bead on it. You buy the bracelet for a song and design a handsome contemporary necklace around that one great bead. Oh well, maybe you'll quit on Monday. Number 2. Do you get up in the middle of the night to bead? You're peacefully drifting off when you remember the tube of tiny seed beads you bought this afternoon. The ones with the indefinable color somewhere between pink and peach and rose. The ones that shimmer in the softest light. Before reason can assert itself, you're out of bed and seated at the kitchen table, laying out your design. Another midnight beater. Question 3. Has your beading caused trouble at work? You wear one too many gorgeous necklaces on the job, and your colleagues' affections turn to envy. You dress up one too many outfits with a perfectly matched pair of woven earrings, and your boss, unaware that each pair costs less than a cup of coffee, decides you're overpaid. Your next raise is history. Question 4. Are beads affecting your financial security? You are the hardest of the hardcore. Beads are wonderfully collectible, not just because they're beautiful, but because they're inexpensive, compared to teapots, say, or Van Goghs. If you're spending yourself into the poorhouse, your collection must approximate the pyramids. Seek professional help immediately. Question number 5. Do you feel as if you are the only person in the world whose beading is out of control? That's not true. Millions of us love these miniature splashes of color. We sort them, we treasure them, assemble and disassemble our favorites into various pieces of jewelry. We travel to new cities and flip eagerly through the phone book, looking for bead stores. We send for mail-order catalogs and order a handful here, a handful there. You are not alone. If you answered no to these 5 questions, try to be compassionate toward those of us who answered yes to all of them. You may not think you know any beaders, but you do. We are your older sisters, your favorite aunts, your long-lost cousins. We are your employers, your accountants, your lawyers, your checkout clerks. We are everywhere. It's all of us. Okay, so, sorry, my book wants to slip down. There we go. Okay, so now let's get into the whip parade. You are going to need to gird your loins because I'm about to start a drinking game with you. Every time, well, first off, I want you to know that there will be Velcro, there will be zippers, there will be rustling, vinyl bags, plastic bags, cloth bags, items in bags. You want to grab your pen, your paper, your stitching, and a huge drink because we're about to start a drinking game, like I said. Anytime that you hear me say GaRon Tottenbags, we're going to have a drink. Hot stick cinnamon black tea. Freshly brewed. So, here we go. So, I started stitching in the 1980s, the first time I was in college, I taught myself how to stitch. Store-bought kits, crunchy Aida, the whole 9 yards. I do not like stitching on linen. I hate it. I can't see it. I have vision problems. I just can't do it. So I stitch on Aida. And I quit stitching in the late 90s, early 2000s, because my carpal tunnel was so bad. And at the time, we only had hoops. We didn't have stands. If you were lucky, you had some scroll bars. But for the most part, no. We just stitched on, we stitched with a hoop and Aida. I never heard about stitching in hand. Fancy flosses were just coming into the norm. So, yeah. The carpal tunnel was so bad. My fingers were going numb. I couldn't feel the needle. I was fumbling all the time. And I think at that time, I'd really burnt myself out because I was stitching on sweatshirts. I was stitching tons and tons of sweatshirts. And it just was so bulky and so heavy, and I quit. Fast forward to 2001, when I moved back to Seattle after my mom passed, and I went into one of my storage rooms, and I actually found the tub that had all of my old projects. Oh my God, I was in tears and dancing in the aisle of the store building in joy. So I was going to only show the whips that I've recently started since 2019. However, when I was watching Cross Stitching the Globe, Stephanie said that if you had needle and floss and thread, or needle and thread and fabric that had met, no matter how long ago, it's a whip. All right, challenge accepted. I decided to take it one step further and be a little extra, and I actually have put these projects into some semblance of chronological order. So here we go. My very first whip is from approximately 1987. Let's see, I graduated high school in 81. Jay was 6 years behind me, so that should have been 87. He graduated a year later, 88. So yes, 1987, 1988. I no longer have the book. I no longer have the cover photo. It was a Designs by Gloria and Pat, and it was a book full of Care Bears. So this first one is the chart, and yes, you can see I learned to stitch with colored charts. So this is Good Luck Bear. This is the Care Bear that is green, Kelly green, and he has a shamrock on his tummy. This is plain old 14 count white Aida. I started in the center. I always start in the center. And this is what I've got. There is the shamrock, and I'm actually stitching the white on the belly on the white Aida. I'll probably go ahead and keep doing it because, what the hell, I started it that way. I might as well finish it that way. DMC called for. This is Good Luck Bear. All right. In 1989, an issue of Leisure Arts magazine was published. Leisure Arts magazine was one of my favorite publications. And it, let's see, I've got the date here. August of 1988, and I think it took me about a year to get everything together and get it started. This is called Yesterday's Dream. The artist is Pam McKee, and it says, "We never really grow old, it seems. We keep in our hearts our fancies and dreams. And in a corner, all tucked away, is the child we all were yesterday." And yes, there's hanging threads. No, I really don't care. Let's see. There we go. So again, that is Yesterday's Dream from Pam McKee, and this was 1989. In 1990, Oh, and this bag is from Forbidden Fiber Company. It was a bag of the month. It says, "May I Adore You." It's from Pretty in Pink. Her bags all have pop culture themes. So in 1990, I found out that I was going to become an aunt for the fourth time. And I had discovered stitching on hand towels with Ada inserts. So I started making baby bibs. That nephew is now, well, he was born in 91, 33 years old. Let's see. This one I had not started. I think, yes. I need to make a copy of the actual color picture so you can show you the color picture. But it says, "Help! My body's been taken over by a monster." And there's a little monster screaming along. Yeah, my body's been taken over by a screaming monster. Oh, sorry, guys. And you can't really see it, but those are the flosses. Let's see. And then come on, thank you. Let's see. I think there's 2 or 3 in here. Oh yeah. So this one will say love. And I'll have to put that back and mark my place again. And then, oh yes, there's nothing like a baby to give you religion. And it's a baby. What did you expect after 9 months of morning sickness, swollen ankles, crankiness, and stretch marks? So a lot of my coworkers are having babies, so I will just stitch these up and have them ready for somebody announces they're having a baby. Oh, this one I need to get color photos. This one is a caterpillar, and it's rainbow colored. These are the flosses. Sorry for the glare. There we go, that's better. So it's rainbow colored. And I'm putting that one on a white towel. So, oh, and there's one more. But wait, there's more. Oh, I think this one is the bear with the honey pot. Yeah. So that, oh my stars. So that's the bottom of the bear's arm and the honey pot. I will get color photos. I'll photocopy the color photos from the books because I do still have the books. And then that way I can show you so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So all 4 of these, or however many of these, are in this Grogu tote bag that my friend Kim made for me. First time she'd ever made a tote bag. All right. All right, here we go. In a GaRon Tottenbag. This is a prepackaged kit. Little banner, friends make life perfect. I've only gotten in a few stitches on it. Apparently, in those days, I was finding out that I was pretty much a serial starter, much like Laura. Hold on. Okay, yep, that's the top. The needle's at the top. So again, white on, well, cream. Oh, and there's a needle there. And this was somewhere in the late 90s and early 2000s. In another GaRon Tottenbag. This is another kit. May God's peaceful and gentle ways uplift and guide you each of your days. It's a Bible book cover and a bookmark. Sorry, guys. The bookmark says, "May God bless you for all of your days." And the book cover is already assembled. You have to go in behind the flap and stitch. So the fact that I got all the back stitching done on the words, the fact that I got all the back stitching done on the words is pretty impressive, but I still need to do the rest of the floral spray up on top and then stitch the bookmark. So again, that is it's a Bible book cover. I think they say it's called May God. Yeah, May God's. So all right. And that was from the late 90s, early 2000s. 2002 to 2003, GaRon Tottenbag. And I remember this one because I started this one before I moved from Kansas City, Missouri to Blythe, California. This is called Sweet Land of Liberty by Sisters and Best Friends, and Amy Brucken is one of the sisters. This is stitched on, I have to be careful here because this is the chart. Good luck getting anything from it. It is stitched on 10 count natural Betsy Ross fabric with 4 strands of Weeks Dye Works overdyed floss and DMC embroidery floss for all cross stitches and 2 strands for the back stitching. And at the time, I didn't even know fancy flosses existed, so I purchased the DMCs. So this is being done in the DMCs. And when I get this out to stitch it again, I'm actually going to put it on scroll rods because this fabric is so loosely woven that it was, if I remember right, it to me felt like it was being distorted in a hoop or a Q-snap. So I'd rather just put it on scroll rods. That's the top of the watermelon. So Sweet Land of Liberty by Sisters and Best Friends. Let me see here. Yes, Sisters and Best Friends. And like I said, I moved to Blythe in 2003, and I had started this right before I left. So, and I moved there in March of 2003. Okay. So now there was a pause in the stitching, and then in 2007, in 2006 the magazine was published, and in 2007 I kitted it up and started working on it. This is from The Cross Stitcher, October of 2006, Thanksgiving Gobbler. It's a 3-dimensional turkey. The head, the wattle, the body, the tail feathers, the wings, the legs, the feet. I actually bought enough fabric to make 4 of these. we'll see how I feel. I haven't even barely gotten one started. So, yes, this is the front side. This is the start of one of the legs. So again, that's Thanksgiving Gobbler. It is from October 2006, the Cross Stitcher. But I distinctly remember purchasing the stuff to kit this up after my ex and I had moved into our home that we were purchasing in Orlando, Florida. And no, it's not a GaRon Tottenbag. I know, shocking, right? All right, so now, big pause. 2011, Scott and I had moved to Washington State. Fall of 2011, I was working as a contractor for the U.S. Navy on a naval air station here in Washington State. And he was working as a contractor for the Navy, and he was in Afghanistan. So while he was gone, I got out my tote and I finished up a sweatshirt that I had done. And it's Life's a Zoo. It was all these wild animals, and it says Life's a Zoo. So the next time there was any stitching after that was 2019, when I found GaRon Tottenbag. When I found this chart at Walmart. It's a dimensions kit, and it says can't adult today. In 2021 or 2020, I actually finished all the wording on the middle part. I just need to do all the floral sprays around the edges. But I think, honestly, putting these in chronological order would help me get a better idea of, hey, let's work on this one and get it done. You know, the older ones, and get them done. All right. So, 2020. The pandemic has started. And I discovered the wonderful world of snarky cross stitch. I run on sarcasm, swear words, chocolate, and lots of caffeine. Now is the time to put your kids out of the room if you're at work. Whoops, I'm so sorry. If you are at work, turn away or turn your sound down. If you're offended by foul language, fast forward. Okay, I'm going to put a time marker here so that you will know when to be prepared. Language. I do not spew profanities. I do not spew profanities. I enunciate them clearly, like a fucking lady. I'm doing this on perforated paper. And I am going to be framing this and giving it to a very dear friend. And then the other piece that I'm making for her says, merde. Shit sounds better in French. If you speak French, you get the joke. Because merde is the French word for shit. Yarn tree bag I purchased from 123 Stitch. Okay, you can come back now. There was this little start and finish. I can't find it right now. It's called No Corona. It was the no symbol drawn through the coronavirus. I completed that. It was on even weave fabric. That was the very first time I did anything on even weave. And I would like to finish it as a button that I could wear like at work. I did another start and finish. That was in 2020. In July of 21, I did a Lori Holt stitch card. This was the first time I tried to participate in the Colorado Cross Stitchers summer camp. And I did a Lori Holt stitch card with a little camper on it. And I've got to dig that one up. So the next one, July of 2021, GaRon Tottenbag. And I need to make a photocopy of the cover because I never thought I would be doing floss tubes. But this is Hello from Liz Matthews, Old Friends. Your heart and my heart are very, very old friends. I am doing this on 16 count Seraphim Fabrics Seraphina and using DMC 310 Etoile. And all I have is one of the Y's in Very, Very. So again, Old Friends, Liz Matthews. Okay. August of 2021, GaRon Tottenbag. Bag of the month. Tulip Pink. With the peacocks. August 14th, 2021 was my 58th birthday. And on that day, I started Carolyn Manning's Peridot. Peridot is my birthstone. I've only worked on it a couple of times since then. The last time was my birthday, 2022, during a Zoom with Gary, Ronnie, and the gang. I'm halfway across the top row. And I'm doing the big chart. I'm not doing the smalls. I'm doing the big chart. So I'm halfway across the top row. Okay. It's amazing, isn't it, how we get all these plans. I'm going to do it on the day of my birthday every month, and I'm going to do it here and do it there, and it just does not work that way sometimes. Okay, November of 2021, I worked on one of the very first GaRon Stitchery Halloween boxes, and in a GaRon Tottenbags bag for that month. Or maybe it was one of the bag sales. Anyway, this is Frank and Stitches. Oh man, that is a dark picture. From Needle Bling Designs. I'm sorry guys. That is a really dark picture. Frank and Stitches. There we go, that's better. I believe Needle Bling Designs 36 count GaRon Green. Okay, yes. Yes. So this is Teresa from Needle Bling Designs. This is one of her fabrics that she created. Yes, there's hanging threads. No, I do not care. I got the Frank and the bats and the girls done. And then it has the finishing kit. Lady Dot creates chenille and pin minis from Just Another Button Company, Just Pins. I need to get that done. And you're going to hear me say that 10,000 times. We probably should have a drinking game with that. All right. Okay. The next one that I started was January of 2022. This was the first month Gary and Ronnie had designer focus of the month. And the very first designer focus was Nora Corbett, Bella Filipina, Mirabilia, Fancy Ladies. And dang it. I don't have it. I don't have the picture. I need to make a copy of the picture and put in here because I'm using a working copy of the chart. This is May's Emerald Fairy by Nora Corbett. Mirabilia. I'm making this for my best friend. Her birthday is May the 31st, Tana. However, I'm not happy with the white, cream, off-white, dirty white Ada. So I am still waiting on fabrics to come in from Atomic Ranch Fabrics to start again. I only did one line, and it's the white part of her white dress, or the white part of her green dress on the white Ada, and I was like, yeah, no, not feeling it. This bag is a Tonic Studios bag. If you do any mixed media, stamping, scrapbooking, card making, Tonic Studios does a lot of paper crafting stuff. And these are really nice bags. They're even nicer than the Yarn Tree bags or the Amazon bags. They're heavier, sturdier, thicker. And they're less expensive, actually, on 1-2-3 Stitch. So, Tonic Studios. If it weren't for the GaRon Tottenbags, that's what I'd be using. All right. Then it was another 5-month pause until I started something new. And a GaRon Tottenbag. This is Forbidden Fiber Company's Harvest Blessings. This was my attempt at cross stitch camp in the summer of 2022. I started this in June of 2022. It was the challenge for June was a seasonal piece. And this is what I have done. I need to finish up the crow, the pumpkin, and then the word blessings down below. This was a kit from Forbidden Fiber Company. Tumbleweed, Winter Sparrow. This is Winter Sparrow. And then the Forbidden Fiber Company flosses. So pretty. Okay. All right. Harvest Blessings, June of 2022. July of 2022, I did the start and finish, and it's fully finished, and I've shown it before. Liberty U from Shepherd's Bush. That was July's challenge for cross stitch camp was to do something new to you. The tiny little piece that I'd done on the even weave. So I did the Shepherd's Bush kit, and it had even weave, and I still don't like even weave. I still hate it. I don't want it. Yeah. I finished on August 14th, 2022. I finished 8 Sleep Stitch Repeat from Lori Holt. And then in September 2022, I did 3 starts. This is the first of the 3 starts, GaRon Tottenbag. Adventure Sampler from Sambree Stitches. Anna Stitch Roadie has been talking about this, and I kind of have to agree with her in that this fabric needs to be changed because Bigfoot is there. I'm done with Bigfoot, but you can barely see him on this fabric. The fabric is the called for from Be Stitch Me. It's 18 count Ada in the colorway Fall. And then the silks are from Be Stitch Me. I love this piece. I need to get it finished because I have a coworker that I had promised that she could have this for her daughter's nursery, and her daughter will be 2 here soon. I really should have it done. But I'm going to sit down, go through the fabric stash. I'm going to restart it. I made some mistakes in the counting on the bee and the Bigfoot. So I'm just going to restart it and feel better about it. So that was September 24th, 2022. September 25th, 2022. Another Forbidden Fiber Company kit. This was their 13 Days of Halloween Advent box for 2022. And the piece is called Witch's Ride. I don't have a color photo. I think I have it actually, the file saved on my computer. I need to print it out. But she had done the black and white because it was an Advent box, so she wanted everyone to be surprised. It has, let's see if I can do this and not completely shadow it out. There is an owl shadowed or silhouetted by a full moon sitting on a branch. There is a black cat laying on a shelf above a shelf full of potion bottles, sitting or hanging on the wall above a cauldron that is steaming. And it says, when witches go riding and black cats are seen, the moon laughs and whispers, 'tis near Halloween. And this was kind of a sad start. I stitched it on, is this spellbound? Hang on. Sorry. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, it's all in here. Yep, spellbound. So this is 16 count spellbound from Forbidden Fiber Company. And the flosses are also Forbidden Fiber Company, overdyed flosses. This is the bottom of the windowsill, or the owl is sitting in front of the full moon. The needle minder is from the box. It says, I've put a spell on you. And the bag was part of the box from Forbidden Fiber Company. And again, I started this on September the 25th, 2022. And then September 26th, 2022, I started Poem for the Ocean. This was from Be Stitch Me's Epic Ocean Mystery Box. So this was her bag. Sun bright, sky is shining, sand so soft, sea is calm, water so blue, let the ocean take me. Again, this was all from Be Stitch Me, so it's her fabric. And I started in the center, and so the word is sea is calm. That's the line. You can barely see it. Sorry, guys. Is. Let me see here. See if I have something here about what the fabric is. No, nothing. Sorry. The flosses are all DMC. She didn't use any of her silks for this. And I'm trying to think what the fabric is. This fabric is gorgeous. There we are. The fabric is Wave by Be Stitch Me. Poem for the Ocean was written by my 5-year-old daughter. I had asked her what she thinks when I say ocean. She instantly shared the words of this cute little poem. Sun so bright, sky is shining, sand so soft, sea is calm, water so blue. With a little creative editing, I added, "Let the ocean take me." I hope you enjoy stitching this little poem as much as it will be a wonderful memory for me. And that was Brandy, Be Stitch Me, created, it was her chart. Sneaky Brand Designs. Again, I started this September 26, 2022. I have everything stacked in order in this giant Hulkin bag. So I'm picking them up and then putting them into 2 bins over here by my side. October of 2022, I got to go to Acorns and Threads for a day-long class with Cecilia Turner of Heart and Hand. And this is what she created for us there. This is exclusive. It will never be released. Sorry, guys. It is called Thankful. And if you... I'll bring it up close so hopefully you can see it. There's a turkey. There's an acorn in the wreath on the door for Acorns and Threads. And then it was finished into a pillow. Again, I do not like even weave stitching. And I know you all are sitting there saying, "Well, Jackie, why are you doing it?" I still ask myself that question. This is what I was able to get done during that day in the class. This was the class where I actually got to meet Anna Stitch Rohde in person, face-to-face. I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm crying, trying not to cry, trying not to gnash teeth, trying not to... And across the table and down 2 people was another young girl that she's sitting there like, "I can do this, I can do this, I can do this," because she also does not stitch on even weave. She's like me, she's an Ada stitcher. This bag is from Jess at Como Stitches. And it's a vinyl fronted bag. Okay. There was quite a pause again before I started in stitching again, and this time was April of 2023. I was at Acorns and Threads attending a Jeanette Douglas class, and the thought of stitching on even weave had me so stretched out that I was like pretty much going into a full-blown panic attack. So I pulled out this little project that I was hoping I would have completed by May to have as a smalls exchange for stitching in the wild, and I didn't. It is Sue Hillis Designs. Sue Hillis Designs Why Men Fish. And she's holding on to the hook, and in this hand she has a starfish charm. Pretty little mermaid. So... this is what I got done. This is just a scrap of Ada that I had in my stash. Kind of like a periwinkle blue color. I had to restart it because I got way off on all the shading and counting in the hair and the body. So someday I'll get it done. And I'll probably put it with my mermaid collection. Okay. Again, that was April of 2023. So, 1 year ago, June 8th, 2023, GaRon Tottenbag. This was their cancer fundraiser bag in 2022. They had gotten a hold of Teresa at Needle Bling Designs, and they got from her this pattern, Courageous and Strong. We don't know how strong we are until being strong is the only choice we have. And this was a chart that she created as a fundraiser for her brother as he was going through testicular cancer. So I sat down, first day of StitchCon. I had everything set up, ready to go. I had blown up the chart and darkened it so I could see it. I had it sitting on my stand. And over my shoulder, I hear, that's a pretty cool chart. And I looked back behind me. Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, that's a good chart. That's a good chart. I said, yeah, I purchased it from Gary and Ronnie for their cancer fundraiser. She said, that's one of my favorite charts. And I looked at her and she says, yeah, I made that chart. It was Teresa. So I had her autograph my other copy. This is a working copy. So I had her autograph the original because I actually had it with me. But she told me that when she made this chart, she actually earned enough money from the sales of this chart to help pay for her brother's, the family's living expenses and such while he was undergoing treatment. This is the ribbon for testicular cancer. I didn't think about this, and I should have done the wording in another color because I'm a melanoma survivor. So I would like to do that ribbon in black, but I don't know. I think it'll probably be too much black. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. Then again, I've got some rainbow colored floss that I probably could just do a rainbow colored ribbon for all the cancers. I like that idea too. But I started this at StitchCon because Pam was doing her survival sal while we were all there, and so I started this one. I do have the Praiseworthy Stitches chart that everyone was doing for her survival sal. So, because as you can see, I got pretty far on this. So I'm thinking I literally just came with that idea of using some of the rainbow variegated floss to symbolize all cancers. But so anyway, that was June the 8th of 23, Courageous and Strong. June 9th, 2023, GaRon Tottenbag. I tried to do the stitch that everyone was starting last year, Away We Ride from Blackbird Designs. So this was on Friday. Let's see here. I think this was Friday the 9th of 2023. I am doing this using the Vicky Clayton silk conversion. And so the silks, this is some of the silks. And this is Grandma's Slip from XJU Designs. And I did not get very far on it. I was really just concentrating on the Courageous and Strong. David Rose from Schitt's Creek. Thank you, Rebel Stitcher. So up here in the corner, this is all I got done. So it's a sad, abysmal start. It is a start nonetheless. And then these are the rest of the silks. I need to get some more of those bobbin boxes from 123 Stitch and actually put the silks in there because they just don't fit right in these bobbin holders. Okay. So again, that was Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. And I started it the 9th of June, 2023. Somewhere around the 4th of July 2023, someone in the GaRon Zoom group got the brilliant idea that, oh, let's do a salve of One Nation. While I'm okay with that, our fearless leader took off and ran with it, so he got done, of course, ahead of all the rest of us. He recently just finished and got his back from the framer. So July of 2023. Oh, my stars. GaRon Tottenbag. And no, Gary, I'm not letting this one go. At least not yet. I got my abysmal start of One Nation. I put some linen around the edges of this fabric because it's going to be a very tight fit. It is 18 count Proserpina by Under the Sea Fabrics. And I'm using the called for Classic Colorworks Cupid and Blacksmith Blue. And I substituted Threadworks 1030 Buttercream for the Classic Colorworks Antique Lace because the lot of antique lace that my local needlework shop, Thread Needle Street, got in was too blue. It was more blue than it was cream. So this is the cream. And then the Cupid and the Blacksmith Blue. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, this is One Nation. These are Quaker motifs in the stars, and then the stripes are the states as they joined the Union, in the order that they joined the Union. I am going to put, I don't have it in here with me. I think I need to dig it up and put it in here. Missouri and Washington State in gold etoile, not diamante, not light effects, not petite treasure braid, the etoile. I'm doing both of those in that yellow color because Missouri is the state of my birth and Washington State is my adopted home. Tuck this back in here and I will show you my abysmal start. A lot of these were abysmal starts. Yes, I will be the first to admit that. Okay, you are going to come out here and set. So I put the linen on here because I'm going to put this on a scroll rod. That's my tiny, teeny little start. It's a start. Alrighty. So again, that was One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And then in July of last year, I'm thinking it was July, I participated in a video class with Lindy Stitches and Lois of Lady Dot Creates for the Loose Feathers needle book. And I don't think, yeah, I don't have, okay. No, I don't have a picture of it. So this is, I did the class. We were to have the piece stitched beforehand if possible. In a way, I feel like I cheated, but in a way I didn't. Because like somebody pointed out, I now actually have something that is stitched by my stitchy bestie, Marcia. She did the stitching for me because it's on even weave. And she says, I'm retired, I have nothing better to do. And this woman can turn out works like there's no tomorrow. She's got some needles of fire, I'm telling you. So that's the top cover. And then I can't remember how it goes. But on the inside then there is this piece that either this piece or this piece But this piece has ribbons that you tie around your scissors. And then there is this piece. Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, there it is. This piece that will have this piece of felt attached to it for your needles. And then this is the back of the book. So I need to finish constructing the book. But I put all these together and I didn't cry once. Not once did I cry. I was very proud of that fact. You have no idea how proud I was of that fact. I did not cry. So I got very ambitious and I bought 3 more of the finishing kits. We'll see. Again, that was July of 2023, Loose Feathers. Again, another big gap in starts. November of 23, I started working on this kit from a big box store. It is from Design Works by Angela Anderson, SCCS Inc., Sewing Mends the Soul. So this is called for kit fabric, 18 count Aida, and then the floss. Yes, there are hanging threads. Nope, I do not care. And that's the N in mends, because I started in the center. This little needle minder is from Hobby Lobby. In a package of 3, it just says needles. Yes, there's threads laying there in the middle of it. Pretty much all of these kits I've gone through and gotten out, teased out the DMC flosses, so that if I get really rambunctious and decide I want to stitch some of these again, I can. Or if I want to pass the chart on to somebody else and share it with somebody else, then I can share with them the DMC conversion. November 2023, Sewing Mends the Soul in a yarn tree bag from 123 Stitch. November of 23, I started phase 1 of the Super Triple Secret Spy project. And I finished that the week of Mother's Day in 2024. I started working on it in November. I took it with me to the 2 retreats I attended in April, Stitch West Spring, and the Library Stitchers retreat. While at Library Stitchers, I realized that part of my stitching was off by 1 column. And so I had a discussion with the frog and restarted it and felt much better about it. And Mother's Day, we were doing a Zoom, GaRon Zoom, and I just started working on it and I couldn't quit. I just kind of got this bug up my butt and said, I want this done. I want it done. It was all I could keep chanting to myself was, I want it done. I want it done. I want it done. The call ended. I kept stitching. And I'd look up and I'm like, oh, the sun's about to set. And I kept stitching and I kept stitching. And I'm like, oh, it's dark out there. And I kept stitching and I kept stitching. And oh, it's 3 a.m. And I kept stitching and I kept stitching. And then, oh, hey, this is getting daylight. It must be about 5. Yeah. About 26 hours. Now, of course, I did not stitch a solid 26 hours. I would take breaks and get a drink or eat or, but it was pretty solid. And I'm very happy. Okay. December 1, 2023. GaRon Tottenbag. This is hashtag Ronnie Sock It To Me Sal. And I started Poinsettia by Blackbird Designs. There are, I'm going to say 6 of them in all, because each stocking has the like A, B, C, D, E, F. The next one has G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So I started this. I started poinsettia. Ronnie, honey, I'm sorry. I have not picked it up since. I started it during Jingle Ball. I am doing this on, I'm wanting to say Parliament. Forbidden Fiber Co. Nope. It's Rogue Parchment. 16 count Rogue Parchment. What is this? Oh, it's another 16 count Rogue Parchment. Oh, I think I got 2 pieces just in case I didn't have enough. Okay. These are the flosses for all of the stockings. And yes, I'm doing all of them on the parchment. So, with the floss bling from my big toe. And hanging threads. Yes, there's a needle. Yes, it's under the needle minder. But this is completely the top row, the complete top row. I just need to go down next and do the alphabet. And now Ronnie has raised the bar on the challenge and thrown down the gauntlet, and he has now till September to get his stocking finished so that he can send it back to Costa Rica with our friend, Laja, who lives in Costa Rica. And she will be here for the Stitching in the Wild retreat. Okay. December the 7th, last year, I started the kit in 2022, I'm wanting to say. I'm thinking it was 2022. Leanne with Forbidden Fiber Company did, and she doesn't have it dated, but she did zodiac signs. So this is Leo. There we go. That's Leo. I'm not crazy about it. I like the lion. It's this part down here that I'm just not crazy about. I don't know if it's the floss that she's using for the banner part, and that maybe I should do the banner part in maybe a black or gray of some sort and do the Leo in the Leo floss. I just don't know. There's something about it. Maybe it's that it's too masculine. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, so this is stitched on Slayer, 18 count, and using the flosses. And that is my very small start in the center. And the needle minder was part of the kit. Yep, he is upside down. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm holding it all upside down. That could very well be. Anyway. I don't know if Leanne still has these for sale on her site. She very well might. I mean, you can always check and find out. Okay. Yeah, Slayer. And these are the flosses. Where is Amber, Jingle Bells, Garnet? Here it is. Here it is. This is the one that she calls Leo. It's got oranges and golds and grays, tans. very tight, lion-like, very, very leoning. But I don't know what it is about the chart. I don't know. So I'm thinking that maybe when I get to that banner, figure out some other colorway for the banner and then do the Leo in the Leo floss. I'm thinking that very well might be the problem. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So I got this brilliant idea to try to do, get the lights readjusted, to do 24 new starts in 2024. So I was going to do 2 new starts a month for the year of 2024. It all went sideways before January was even half over. Yeah. I've been working at it my best, but let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've got 13 starts. 2 of them were SAF, start and finish. And it's almost July, so by the end of July, I should have 14 new starts. So I'm actually ahead of the game. It's just that they weren't starts that I had planned on having. Some of them are, some of them aren't. This is one of them. January 5th this year, I started the 2024 Lunar Climate Chart from Forbidden Fiber Company. Oh, shoot. One moment, please. Smoke them if you got them. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. This is the 2024 Lunar Climate Chart. I started this on January the 5th. I have been keeping up with this chart. I'm very stunned and proud of myself for doing that. Whoop. I'm using the fabric and colorway for 2023. This is the daily high and phase of the moon from January 1 until yesterday, June 17th, 2024, here in Edmonds, Washington. That bottom row. There we go. That's better. That's more like it. So as you can see, we had a couple of days that it got up to 80. And then another day up in the 70s. And then this full moon, I put silver petite treasure braid around it because that was the lunar eclipse, the full lunar eclipse. And then this new moon, I have gold petite treasure braid around because it was the total solar eclipse that we had in April. So that's the Lunar Climate Chart from Forbidden Fiber Company. Her fabric, her floss. This is one of her project bags. It was a bag of the month. It's for Game of Thrones. Again, her bags are all pop culture references, but unfortunately, bless its heart, it really leads a hard life. I throw this into my backpack and take it with me to work. I throw it into bags and take it with me here, there, and everywhere, stitching meetups, you name it. So some of the vinyl fell off of it that outlines the house. Is it the House of Stark? I don't know. I've never watched the series. I've never read the books. I have no desire to do so. Sorry. Not sorry. But winter is coming with, I think it's the House of Stark. Okay. Then, okay. On January the 7th, I attempted to get a start in on this chart. This is a salve that started in 2021, ended in 2022, from Autumn Lane Stitchery's Dark Queen of the Seas. I will get this done someday. I will. I promise. I will. So there's my sad start. It's one of the fishes. Oh, it's going to stick. There we go. It's this fish that is right here in her front. Since then, they've done Dark Queen of the Earth. It was my plans to start Dark Queen of the Earth the same month. I did not get it done. I do have the center of my fabric marked. That's a start. And I've been keeping them wrapped around this scroll rod wrap from GaRon Tottenbags. Okay. And the chart, it was a 12-part SAL, and every month we got a PDF new part of the chart. So I took and I got them all arranged so that the parts that I needed were together. And you can open it up like a book. There's part 3. There's part 4. But you can open it up and then read the chart across the 2 pages. Much like a Hands Across the Sea, the new charts, how she does her new charts. I did the same thing with Dark Queen of the Earth. I did the same thing with Carolyn Manning's Bumblebee Garden Sal. I did the same thing with Notorious Needles We Believe and Notorious Needles Pro-Choice charts. So, okay. That was January the 7th. January the 14th, I decided to try to start Happy Trails to You by Silver Creek, or Big Creek. Oh, doggone it. Where did I get this bag? Sugar, I don't remember. I know it was an Etsy shop. I'm wanting to say it was a lady that I had met at the Jeanette Douglas class. Anyway, this is the chart. My friend Laura found it for me on the freebie table at Stitching in the Wild. And she said, you must have these because of the moustaches. Look at the moustaches. So, it's a sheep and a dachshund and a squirrel. And the squirrel is the sheriff riding the dachshund, who is riding the sheep. And the sheep has on boots with spurs. And the sheep, the dachshund, and the squirrel all have mustaches. And it says Happy Trails to You, Bit Creek. Again, scrap of Ada that I have in my stash. And I've gotten, I started in here on the piece that's covering the sheep. I can't remember who I got the needle minder from. It says I practice Stitchcraft, and it has a skein of floss. And again, Bent Creek, Happy Trails to You. Okay, so I have another start and finish, and I showed it recently, January 30th to the 31st. It's called DNA. It's a pair of lips with a piece of floss hanging from it. And it says, if you ever need my DNA, use this. Shameless floss liquor. Let's see, February the 4th. Nope. Oh, excuse me, back up. After Happy Trails to you, one morning I woke up, was laying in bed, just kind of flipping through the Facebook. And on the Floss Boss and Cousins Facebook page, someone posted, "Look into my eyes. There is no cross-stitch stash." And by that night, I started it. Oh, what did I drop? Oh, my needle puller. So there's the cow spots, her part of her collar. I've started filling in the body. If you know the Floss Boss and Cousins, you know that their tag phrase is "don't be a heifer." So, and you also know that, you also know that Christy, one of the cousins, every time she would get stuff in the stuff that she'd ordered in the mail, she'd tell her husband, "Look what I won, honey, look what I won." So I saw this, I burst out laughing, and I immediately jumped out of bed, got dressed, went in, started pulling from stash the floss and the fabric to start it. So that is no cross-stitch stash. And you have to be a member of the Floss Boss and Cousins Facebook page to get the chart. I know I didn't say GaRon Tottenbags, but I needed to wet my whistle. So I did Happy Trails, no cross-stitch stash, DNA. That was, if you ever need my DNA, use this, and a piece of floss. February the 4th. Ouch. One of my plans starts. I wanted to do all 4 of Beth Twist's heartstring sampleries. I don't know if she actually ever called it something specific, but okay, this was the last one. Okay, so this was the very first one she did, and it's Whip It Good. And there's motifs around it. There's scissors and hoops and vines and flowers and plants and pots and urns. And then in the center it says "Whip It Good." She based it off of the old 80s song "Whip It" from Devo. In a GaRon Tottenbag. This was their 2023 cancer fundraiser bag. And if you watched my Flosstube after I started this one, I told you the sad tale of woe about how I'd started this motif in the corner and then realized my count was off. So I thought, okay, I'm a fudger, not a frogger. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go back and figure it out a different way. And could not make it right. I had everything way offline. So again, the frog came and visited. And now it's back on track. So that's a bobbin that is actually going to be a pot for an urn, or an urn for a plant. Yeah, I think this is, yes, this is the, yes. So this is the center top, and then the corner, and it comes down. So this is about a quarter of it. My plan is to do all 4 of these and then make them into project bags. This is a needle minder from Rebel Stitcher. It says Flosstube. So Whip It Good is on 16 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Hidden Treasure. And I'm using the same floss for all 4 of them, and that is Forbidden Fiber Company's Obsidian. And then hoop, there it is 16 count Cherry Riffic from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers with Obsidian. Baby Got Backstitch is Bee Stitch Me's Sweet Pea and Obsidian. And Who Let the Frogs Out is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Jade Dragon and Obsidian. So that's my, I just got Whip It Good is the only one that I have started thus far. Okay. Yes, I know I shouldn't be storing things in hoops. I truly had planned on revisiting this project before now. And part of my getting things squared away, straightened around is going through these projects that I have kitted up that have not yet started and figuring out a way to like maybe de-kit things to give myself more space. Number 1, and number 2 is to figure out a master list so that when I go to, when I'm doing another project and I need a floss, is it being held hostage in another kit? So, all right, that was Whip It Good. On the 11th of February, along with Floss and Fibers Canada, the Huga Stitcher, Hyggae, I believe is Huga Stitcher, and Floss and Fibers Canada, and several other people. I think Andrew the Runner Stitcher is in on this as well. There are several of us doing it. It's called #Year of the Dragon Sal, because February the 11th was the start of the Chinese Lunar Year, and this is the Year of the Dragon. So this I decided to do Glendon Places Dragon Affairs. Meddle not in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and good with ketchup. This is an absolutely stunning piece. I am stitching it on the called for Romaine 16 count from Crossed Wing Collection, using it uses all Rainbow Gallery flosses. All Rainbow Gallery flosses and Anchor. Hold on. Sullivan's. Sorry. Sullivan's. Okay. And this is... Yes. No, this is... Okay, yeah. This is my start. And it is... Yes. This part... Sorry, guys. It's this part right here. Again, I'm a center stitcher. I'm a center starter sometimes. I've become better at starting in the upper left corner. And this needle minder is from Stitchy Collective. I'm in her needle minder quarterly club, and it says Feelin' Stabby. Did I say it's a GaRon Tottenbag? Sorry, it's taking me longer to get sips because the level of liquid in the cup is getting lower and lower and lower. This is a scissor case and scissors that came in the Tiger Lily January Quarterly Keeper Club. All right. And then in February on Valentine's Day, I was supposed to start a stitch along with Carolyn Zook, C. Zook Stitch, from a piece that was in Just Cross Stitch magazine last December. And I unfortunately was not able to start it until March. It's in a GaRon Tottenbag. It is a pattern from Bothy Threads. And again, it was in December 2023, just cross stitch. The snuggle is real. Carolyn has gone so far. She's like over in here the last time I saw it. And I started right here. So, white on nearly white fabric. It's going to be hard to see, but trust me, it's there. Oh, hey, let go. That's the other thing I need to take out of these kits that I'm not actively stitching on is the metal boards. Oh, hey, you can see that pretty good. And that is from Abby Topknot, my cat creature. He was a black kitty, and he was my boy. And I miss him so much. The hashtag for this Sal is, "Are you kidding me?" Are you kidding me, Sal? And I got the kit from Bothy Threads. Okay. Let me see here. I think I put it in here. Yes, I did. For right now, I put it in here. This is a GaRon Tottenbag. And this is a Sal that was started on April Fool's Day with Sarah from Sarah's Stitchery and Sarah from Handmade by Sarah W. And the hashtag is Foolery on Fools. It's Hands Across the Seas, Tom's Foolery. I absolutely love this piece. These are the DMCs. Very bright, very colorful, very, very, very cute. I'm so in love with it. Oh, okay. So I started in the upper left corner. This is 16 count Winter Mint from Atomic Ranch. And this is the fabric I'm waiting to get in to do May's Emerald Fairy on. I think it'll be absolutely stunning on this color. So this is, again, this is from the Creatively Stitching. This says Place Needle here. Thankfully, a lot of these Sals, there's no set time limit. They're more start-alongs. For me, Sal means start along and not stitch along. All right. Come on. Okay. Okay. So oh yeah, April 2nd to 3rd. April 3rd is the anniversary of my mom's passing, and this year it was really, really difficult for me. I had a lot of things going on personally, and then just dealing with the trauma and reliving everything from her passing. It was this was a bad year for me. So I discovered that the Colorado cross stitcher Sherry had created this absolutely darling little freebie pattern, and it says Stitching Friends Are the Best. And of course, I find this just as I'm getting ready to leave to go to Stitch West Spring. So not enough time to make any smalls out of it, so my grand idea is, so there's the one I created literally overnight, the one I stitched up literally overnight. So my idea is to fill this entire piece of fabric with as many of these as I can fill it up with. And then I have some smalls that are ready to go for retreats. Yeah. This is, I want to say, where is it? Oh, Forbidden Fiber Company. This is Parliament. This is 16 count Parliament from Forbidden Fiber Company. And I've got it. The bag is from OG Stitchery. I purchased this at the Library Stitchers Retreat in Maine. She had a trunk show there. And I purchased it from her there. And I love it because it's got these little sewing motifs on it. And yep, it's called a Betty bag. Has this absolutely darling zipper pull. Chunky button, bead rather, zipper pull. My tags that I make for my project bags, I will do a video and show you how I do it. These are colored key, so like you can color code keys if you have multiple keys for multiple things. And then I just use the label maker and put the name of the project on there. And then I either use a safety pin or I put it, if it doesn't have a zipper there, or I hook it through the eye of the zipper pull. So that's how I do that. I will show you, I'll make a more detailed version of that. And then we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Okay. So May the 5th, I actually finally got in all the materials. January was the quarter, the spring quarter of Just Cross Stitch magazine. They've changed around their format. They're now doing quarterly issues that are a little bigger and have a little bit more charts in them than doing the every other month. And they have now, if you are subscribed, if you're subscriber, you automatically will get the Halloween ornament issue and the Christmas ornament issues. So, in the spring, they started this 4-part stitch along, Carolyn Manning's Hummingbird Garden. So this row came out in January. This row came out April. July will be this one. And in October, October will be the last part. Carolyn designed this in Sullivan's Flosses. I finally found a place that I can buy Sullivan's Flosses from. And it's called mynotions.com. And so I finally got this started on May the 5th. And I have started the very first motif, the very upper right corner start. There's 6 hummingbird charms on here, and I purchased those from the tinsmith's wife in Texas. I'm going to take that out. The fabric I'm wanting to say is Atomic Ranch, which they've kind of become my new favorite. Yes, Atomic Ranch 16 count vanilla cream. That was a fabric of the month. And yeah, that's the Hummingbird Garden. So stunning. I have got this in the Tiger Lily's quarterly keeper for April. This is the one that I had shown, I think it was my last floss tube, that I was really upset and disappointed with Shelly Antique Needleworker for showing the box, and I hadn't yet received my box. So if you saw that one, these are the flosses. Are they not gorgeous? Oh my gosh. Okay, so those are the flosses. And then there was Mother's Day, and I had finished up phase 1A of the Super Triple Secret Spy project. And then May the 14th, I started phase 2A of the Super Triple Secret Spy project, so I can't show you that one. And then on the 16th of June, I started another SAL, GaRon Tottenbags. This is the last one, gang. This SAL is from my very good friend Sarah at Notorious Needle. Sarah's designs are snarky. Sarah's designs are political. Sarah's designs are fan-freaking-tastic. So she's the one who did We Believe in 2020, 2021. Then in 2021 to 2022, she did Pro-Choice, right around the time that the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Finally, we have a new SAL from her. Yay! Vote as If. And the first piece dropped... Okay, now I gotta stop and think this through. The first piece dropped the 7th of June. Yes. The first piece dropped the 7th of June. The second piece dropped last Friday, the 14th of June. So this is an 18-part SAL. And it will end in November when Sarah does a finishing tutorial. And it uses the colors of the, I'm wanting to say, Progressive Trans Pride flag. So the fabric is mist. It's a 16-count mist from Witch's Garden Crafts. And the flosses are from Dying for Sass. Both of these are on Etsy. If you want to get in on the SAL, you could go to Notorious Needle, or you can go to the Notorious Needle Facebook page, and Sarah can tell you more about it. These are the flosses, and it comes with the floss sorter. It's acrylic, and it's got Vote written in there. And these are the colors. And then this is the fabric, Mist. I got the first motif done on the very top row. This then again, and again, this is another minder from, this is my most recent minder club from Creatively Stitching. So, 16 count mist. There is a DMC conversion. However, Sarah has said that there's one of these teals, I'm wanting to say it's this one, that there is no DMC match for. She cannot find a DMC match that she is happy with. So, anywho. So there we are, the first piece. And let's see here. So, yep, Vote as If. And let me put this back before I put it away. I had ordered this floss from Dying for Sass DYEING for SAS, SASS. I'd ordered it from her on her Etsy shop. And I get a notification that it's been sent out. And then I get a notification that it's been delivered. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not in my post box. What's going on here? Well, I get a hold of Jenny, who is dying for SAS. And she says, that's weird. So she started investigating on her end. And I was trying to investigate on my end. And come to find out, somewhere along the line, the packaging and the contents of the packaging became separated by the USPS. And so the USPS, rather than delivering an empty package, sent the package back to their reclamation center. And I'm like, and Jenny says, I've been doing this for 5 years now. This is the first time I've had any problems. So it was very interesting. So she sent out a new package. I literally had it in my post office box within like 3 days. So I was finally able to start my sal. So that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 30, nope. 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 whips. So, there we are. Carolyn, I've done 37 whips in just under 2 hours. I hope that's a little more acceptable for you. She made a comment on my whip parade last December that I had done all my whips in less than an hour. So, challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. So, speaking of floss tubers, who have I been watching? Carolyn Zook, C-Zook Stitch. I have been watching Cross Stitching the Globe. Stephanie and Allison. I love these sisters. They've got 3 different types of floss tube videos. They do Flosstube University. They do where they're instructional videos for those of you who are first-time stitchers. Then they do Flosstube. They're Flosstube where they do deep dives into their own stash. And then they have a third series of videos where they do the most expensive charts, the most expensive, all of that. And they're great. They're awesome. Stephanie is a travel photographer. I used to live and travel through Europe, so she turns a lot of her photos into cross-stitch projects. She now has her own Etsy shop, and that's how she got started in cross-stitch, was she wanted to turn these patterns or these photos into cross-stitch pieces. So, Cross Stitch the Globe, GaRon Stitchery, the Seattle Stitcher, Tiger Lily, Antique Needleworkers, the Hathaway Stitchers. This is another pair of sisters that, oh my gosh, they are so funny. Amity is also known as Boomerang Stitchers, and she has an Etsy store, and she has several patterns that she has for sale. I just recently purchased 2 of them. One of them is Great White Christmas, and it's a great white shark. It looks like the old school Jaws movie poster with the shark coming up. And the shark's coming up, and it says, I'm dreaming of a great white Christmas, and there's Christmas trees. It's great. It's awesome. Taylor's working on it now, and she's actually doing it in Dracula. Classic Color Works Dracula. So it's great. And then Erin, I'm wanting to say, is Amity's sister. God, I hope. I'm sorry if I have it wrong. Please forgive me. She too is Cozy Cottage Needleworks, I think. Anyway, check them out. I will link them down below. Just Keep Stitching, of course. Sarah Stitchery, Handmade with Sarah W. Brenda and the Serial Starter, they have a new one out. I need to go sit down and watch that one. And there's just so many more that I'm watching. Literally, that's just the tiniest, littlest bit of the, country stitchers. Yeah. And there's a ton of StitchCon recaps out there right now. I highly encourage you to go look at them. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see Crisscross Stitch again because he says his stitchy bug is back. He attended Weekend B. I'm so stoked. And for me, like I said earlier, I'm just going to keep working on the Super Triple Secret Spy project and get all 3 pieces of that finished. Get the floss blings done because September is coming. We are now less than 3 months away from the retreat. Oh my God. So yeah, we've got that going down. So thank you for spending the last 2 hours with me. I hope that you've gotten some inspiration. I'm hoping you got some enabling, and I surely hope you got hydrated. I will be back. I'm not sure when. Just if you've hit that notification bell, please do that if you haven't. In the meantime, I want you to keep curating those crafting supplies and then create with those supplies that you've curated. Keep inspiring, keep creating, and be kind. It truly does not take anything to be kind these days. You have no idea the struggles or the path that someone else has taken. So please, be kind. I love you to pieces. I'll see you as soon as I possibly can. And please leave a comment. If you have a question, please leave a comment, okay? Love you to pieces. See you soon. Bye-bye.